Hey, I'm Brian Elliott. Welcome to another edition of Behind the Brand. Let's go check out our next story.
Hello, I'm Miguel McKelvey, the co-founder and chief creative officer at WeWork, and you're watching Behind the Brand.
Miguel, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the missteps because, we talked earlier off camera, just recently did a Facebook Live where we talked about the F word, failure, which I think gets a lot of people stuck. Let's unpack that a little bit and talk about how you see failure, and then maybe also talk about your definition of success.
Well, failure is always interesting to talk about in the sense that for some people it seems like a finish line, and for other people it's a point to spring forward from. I think once you get to the place where you're comfortable feeling that it's a place that you're always going to come back from, that you're going to, the lowest point means you're only on your way up after that. If you have that perspective, then it takes away a lot of the fear. And I think, like for me, when I moved to New York City, I felt like I was taking a big leap. And I said to myself, look, the worst thing that can happen is none of it works out, and I move back home with my mom and sit there until I figure out the next step forward. And I was totally comfortable with that if that's the way things worked out. So I was willing to sort of take any chance, take any risk, because the downside would never be so bad that I wouldn't be able to spring back from it. And I think that's the perspective you need to have in order to constantly take risk. And you obviously can't achieve great success without taking those risks. So you've got to have the freedom. You got to have the ability to leap forward and not worry about the consequences.
It's an important point you make too. It was, again, kind of subtle. I want to underscore it is, failure is fine if you can come back and fight another day. But failure is no fun, and it's permanent if you fail too far and you can't come back. If you're like, all right, I'm going to try flying this plane in a different way that has never been flown, and you do a tailspin into the ground, you don't get a second chance. You're talking about the kind of failure that is not going to, you just said, you kind of played it out in your mind. The worst thing that could happen is it doesn't work out, I move back with mom, and that's fine. You netted it all out. But sometimes when you net it out and you're like, I'm going to take my life savings, I'm going to invest in this company, and either works or doesn't, that's kind of that's another kind of gamble, isn't it?
Well, yeah, Well, it just depends. We invested our life savings in this business. We had a chance to, we sold a business before, and we had a couple $1 million we could have put in our pockets and said, hey, that's for the future. We'll have some money in the bank and we can have some freedom. And perhaps if we get regular jobs, we'll have nice fat savings accounts or whatever, right? But instead we said we're going to leverage all of it. We're going to put it all on the line. We're going to invest all of it in a new business, and then, see where it takes us. And I think, it's all about perspective. And certainly when you're younger and you don't have, say, family that is depending on you, it's easier. And once you got to take care of a kid or something, that changes somewhat. And you got to be responsible. But at the same time, if you have internally this burning need to do something, to push yourself, you're also doing yourself a disservice by not serving that need, by being too worried about it, because then you're not following your true path. And that's not right for you either. That's got to be doing some damage to your psyche if every day something's telling you, take action, move forward, do something, and instead you're just checking a box or punching a time card or whatever.